Katie Malionic. I'm a dog trainer in Massachusetts, and today we're going to get into a little bit of how dogs communicate with their face. A lot of people who aren't aware of dog body language have some trouble identifying whether a dog is tired or if they're stressed. And they can look kind of similar unless you look for these few minute details that will help you identify whether you're pushing your dog too much or whether your dog is genuinely happy and having a good time. Today we're going to focus only on the face. There's a lot that our dogs tell us just by their facial muscles and movements. But if we don't take the time to learn about these things, we can easily miss them. So when a dog is relaxed and genuinely tired, one, you want to look at context in determining whether your dog is stressed or tired. Is the dog being physically active or mentally stimulated? Or is the temperature really hot? That can also make them tired. In those cases, a dog is most likely going to look tired after they play, after they have sniffed around the whole entire yard, or if it's 85 degrees outside and they're just hanging out outside and their eyes are squinted and their tongue's hanging out. They're probably having a pretty good time and they're tired enough that they're just relaxing. And some scenarios where your dog might be stressed, very common ones would be like going to the vet or going to get groomed. There's so many different variations of what stresses dogs out. You might notice that your dog is more tired after those experiences. If a dog is tired, the skin around their eyes and around their lips is going to be relaxed. So like if they shook their head, their lips would be swaying back and forth. It's very relaxed. Their eyes would also be big and round, and you wouldn't see a ton of white, or what we would call whale eyes. They aren't avoiding eye contact with really anything. They're kind of just doing whatever they want, looking at whatever they want. If a dog is stressed, they'll hold tension around the skin of their eyes. It'll be much tighter. It'll almost be like they're like just had a facelift. And the same thing around their lips. Their lips will be more tight. You want to look to where their nose is pointed because it's usually going to be pointed away from whatever is stressing them out. You also want to look at their tongue. If their tongue is tense, you can tell if it's firm or if it's loose. In addition to the tension around their eyes, they might squint, or you'll see what a lot of people think of as like side eye, which is what we would call, what trainers and animal behaviorists would refer to as whale eye, which is where you see more white of the eye than is usual. So now I'm gonna pull up some photos to hopefully help people distinguish between what a stressed dog looks like and what a relaxed, tired dog looks like. Okay, so we're gonna start off easy. So the first picture I'm gonna start off with is a dog that I've worked with in the past, Murphy the Black Lab. We're gonna focus on her face. Her eyes are round, they're not squinted, and you can't really see much, if any at all, of the whites of her eyes. And there's no tension around her eyes, which is great. Her nose is pointed directly at me. I'm obviously taking a photo of her. A lot of dogs will actually be turned off by a camera or a phone shoved in their face, but her nose is in my direction, in the direction of the camera, so she seems to be fairly comfortable with me taking a photo. Her mouth is open, obviously. If you really look at her lips kind of, if this photo were a video, if she like moved her head back and forth, her lips would kind of be swinging, you know? If you've seen a dog run and their lips kind of flap all over the place, that's what it would kind of look like. It wouldn't be tight. She has no tension around the corners of her lips, or her lips in general. And then her tongue is out, it's hanging relaxed, it's very much hanging down. It's hard to see in the photo because she's actually moving it. Hopefully you can tell that this is a very happy, relaxed, tired dog. I'm gonna do one more easy photo of another relaxed and happy, tired dog. Okay, so this is just a random dog from a photo I found online. But I thought it was a very good example because I feel like a lot of people have seen their dogs' tongues hanging out of the side of their mouths. This was a great example of that. That limp tongue is what you really want to be looking for in determining tiredness. This dog's eyes are pretty relaxed. There's no tension around the eyes. The nose, again, is pointed towards whoever's taking the photo. The dog has a ball in its mouth, which helps you to see in this photo that lips are very loose and relaxed. Now I'm going to be moving on to some stressed dogs. Look out for the differences, and I'll get to them. Let's see if you can figure them out before I even point them out. This one's a little bit easier. It's not a tired dog. It's not a completely overly stressed dog. It's more of like an uncomfortable dog. So this is Toby. This is a dog that I've worked with. And the backstory of this photo is that I was dog sitting for him and I was sending his parents a photo of him to let them know that he's doing okay. So because of how uncomfortable this made him, it did not last long. He's not really holding a lot of tension in his face. His lips aren't that tight. They might be a little bit tight around the corners, but not that much. But he is showing whale eyes. So he's showing more of the white of his eyes, and his nose and his gaze are completely in the opposite direction of the phone that I was using to take his picture. The phone really threw him off, and a lot of dogs do this where they're uncomfortable with a strange object being shoved in their face, or maybe not being shoved in their face, but just entering their personal space. In this photo, I would say that he's uncomfortable, he's tolerating it, but he's not enjoying it. So that means we reevaluate what we're doing, find a better way to make him comfortable. So after taking that photo, what my approach would be is to take pictures of him when he's not paying attention, when he's playing with something else, when he's sniffing around the yard, when he's eating, he's not paying attention, and I'm far away from him. Moving on. Okay, this is very clear, and I think most people would be able to pick this up. This is a random photo on the internet. I don't know whose dog this is, but very good example of facial tension. So this pug has so much tension in their face. I know pugs have wrinkles, but this is not what you're seeing. You're not seeing cute wrinkles on a pug in this photo. This is a stressed dog. And you can tell by obviously the tension on the forehead, a lot of tension on the forehead, and a lot of tension around the eyes. When they're stressed, they will squint their eyes. There's a lot of tension in the lips, and it makes it look like the lips are being pulled up and back. Hopefully you can pick that up. And you can also see the tension in the tongue. The next photo I'm going to be showing you is of a stressed out dog that is used in the book Canine Body Language, a Photographic Guide. This book. It's used specifically under facial tension. In this photo, the dog is looking directly at whoever or whatever is taking the photo, the camera. There's a ton of tension around the forehead, the eyes, and the lips. The lips are pulled back tight enough that front of their lips isn't floppy. The tongue is also turned up and held very stiff. There's no whale eyes, but the dog is starting to squint. This dog is not tired, but stressed out. The next two photos are of tired dogs showing no signs of stress. This photo is of a dog that I've worked with in the past, Missy. So in this photo, you can see that her tongue is not hanging out. It's laying very limply inside of her mouth. You can see that how it hangs over her teeth, even though it's not hanging out. Her mouth is open, and you can tell that her lips are pretty floppy. Her eyes are nice and round and not too wide that they're showing whale's eye, and not too narrow that they're squinting. There's no tension around her forehead or her eyes. She's not averting her gaze away. She's not averting her gaze at all. It's pretty clear that she's relaxed. The last photo I want to talk to you about is of a dog that I worked with in the past, Ellie. Ellie is one of those dogs that has a lot of fur on her face, so it can kind of make it a little harder to tell if there's tension in the face face, but you can still tell. You're not gonna be able to see wrinkles on her forehead from stress. The context of this photo is that she just came back from a long walk. There were no stressors on this walk. She is panting, but she's not frantically panting. Her tongue, again, is limp. It's hanging out. Her nose is pointed towards the camera, so she's not averting her gaze. It's hard to tell without the fur, but her eyes are nice and round, and there's no whale eyes, and she's not squinting. If you found this video helpful, stick around, because once a week I post a video on animal welfare, animal behavior, and everything that I've learned about dog training in my 8 years of working with dogs.